flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to call the City Council meeting from January 26th to order. Sandy, can you please call the roll?
Ballard.
Here.
Ball.
Here.
Gerhardstein.
Here.
Jaworski.
Here.
Kosky. Here. Levon.
Here.
Thielman.
He's excused. Approval of council minutes?
I'll make a motion to adopt the minutes from the January 12, 2026 meeting.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Levon, seconded by Councilwoman Kosky to approve the City Council meeting minutes of January 12, 2026 as presented. Discussion? Sandy, can you please call the roll?
Ballard.
Yes.
Ball.
Yes.
Gerhardstein.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kosky. Yes. Levon.
Yes.
Communications from the mayor.
Thank you so much, Council President. Good evening, everyone. Just want to say this past Tuesday, we had an awesome budget meeting. I look forward to completing this 2026 budget with you guys, with council. And then snow removal, I just want to thank the service department for keeping our streets clean throughout the weekend. I went city to city and couldn't believe the unbelievable job you guys did. So great job, and thank you, and keep safe, travelers. That's all I have.
Any questions or statements to the mayor? Thank you, Mayor. Reports, communications from the Director of Law.
Nothing to report, Council President.
Any questions for the Law Director? Thank you, sir. Reports and communications from the Council President. I have none. Additions or amendments to the agenda. I'd like to add, to Colby Park gazebo for new business, A. Anything else?
When do I add, like, the Wickliffe and the Recreation Department's budget type thing? I know you're gonna have some meeting next Monday.
Yeah, well, we have a list of those. You want to bring that up at the end under miscellaneous? But
We can do that, yeah, I just wanna add it to that
Yeah.
day.
Anything else? Okay. We'll go ahead to the administrators. Police Chief Bush.
Thank you, Council President Garcia. I have nothing further today.
Any questions or comments for the police chief? Chief, I received your amended capital improvement.
Yes, sir.
For the cars and the safety equipment, the drone, the weight equipment. So I'm gonna put all that into the safety equipment, or Special Services and Safety Equipment Committee, along with your other stuff you already had.
Okay, thank you.
And so I have a question for you and the service director as a thought. You know, last year we were talking about a fence to secure your parking lot.
Yes.
And my question is, the old service garage that adjoins the police department's parking lot, is that building relatively full?
Yes.
Like, there's no room in there at all?
No.
Okay. Because my concern was I thought we could repurpose that and at least give the police department some parking spaces in there and put a man door,
Yeah,
create a man door in the parking lot going into that side of that wall and leave them access. So instead of spending the money on a fence, where they could walk across their parking lot up a set of stairs and into that building for their cars.
That's where all of our, pretty much all of our equipment's at, like all of our lawn mowers, and we have the 2 buses for the Lake Tram buses for the seniors. Pretty much everything we use in the spring, summertime is parked in that building.
Okay. Well, if you find a way to make that work out with the police, that would, instead of putting a fence around that parking lot to secure those cars, that would work out. All right, any other questions or comments? Okay, thank you, Chief Bush. Fire Chief Grossman.
Thank you, Council President. We did have a fire on the 13th of January, residential on Ridge Road. Unfortunately, 3 of the 4 dogs perished in the fire. The occupants and 1 dog were able to get out prior to our arrival. We assisted them best we could, and they ended up going with some family due to the extent of damage in the home and what needed to be done there. Obviously thank our neighboring communities that came and assisted us in that. It was a long, drawn-out overhaul situation to make sure everything was put out, and it definitely was, cold out. So it hampers our efforts a little bit. The cause is still undetermined. We're still looking into that. We also have started to, see an increase in the flu, COVID, seasonal illnesses, so the hospital times have started to, ER waits have started to increase, so everyone should be aware of that, we're experiencing hour-long waits at the ERs again with our ambulances trying to get beds right now, and just a kudos to the service department. We ran a couple dozen calls over this storm, and everything was good, and we had no issues getting around the city, so thank them for their efforts. It was, we were good. That's all I have.
Any questions or comments for the fire chief?
I just want to comment and say, losing one dog has got to be rough. So losing three, I couldn't even imagine. Just want to say thoughts and prayers to the family.
Any other questions or comments for the?
Councilman Grossman, Chief Grossman, the increase in time with these hospitals, how does that increase our call time? Does it increase it drastically, or do we just use other cities' mutual aid to cut down that call times?
Yeah, we will call if we need a squad. We'll call mutual aid, which could add 5 to 8 minutes, depending on who's available. This afternoon, we had a Mentor squad, a Concord squad, 2 Willoughby squads, and our squad all waiting for a bed at the same time. We were there for over an hour. Some were there longer than we were. They take patients based on severity and need. So if you have a non-critical patient or someone that's stable, you end up waiting. So it's kind of just how that works out. So you start to get a little thin when all your neighbors are doing the same thing that we're doing. So, but if they have another squad, we'll pick from communities that aren't out. 5 to 8 minutes, it would add to a response time if we're tied up.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments for the fire chief? Thank you, chief. Finance director Mattis is excused. City engineer Formica.
Thank you, Council President. I have nothing to add to my report. I would like to report that I did send out a letter to mayor and council that Service Director Kravchuk and I put together an improvement list, and would ask that that be placed in the appropriate committee.
We will place the road improvement recommendations in the improvement committee.
Thank you.
It was in there from the organizational meeting. We put that in at the beginning of the year, but now that everybody has a copy, now that it's ready to go. All right. Any questions for the city engineer? Thank you, sir. Service Director Kravchuk.
Thank you, Council President. The only thing I'll have to add is we are going to try and attempt to do the sidewalks tomorrow with our plow. There is a lot of snow out there on some areas, especially like Euclid Avenue and like some down the mains, but we are going to try to attempt to do it at least on Rockefeller for the school zones and stuff like that. So it's going to be an attempt. It might make a big mess. Hopefully we don't get any complaints about it, but we are going to try to attempt it. That's all I have to add.
Any questions or comments? Mr. Bella?
Yeah, with all the snow removal, how is the overtime looking? Are we, I remember last time you said most people were comping, which is great, but
Yeah,
let's worry about
with
the
the
budget.
16 guys that plowed this past day, it was 220 hours used. So it was a lot. And we had to continue, maybe into tonight, maybe, and tomorrow morning. We'll see what happens.
Councilman Ball.
Dave, if you would mind, can you just kind of briefly go over like what's the priorities when you guys are plowing, just for my knowledge, maybe for those who are here and watching?
We do the mains first. That's our main concern, and we'll pop in and out of secondaries. Snow like that yesterday, I think the guys did an outstanding job popping into their secondaries to be able to get up and down, especially on the south side around the hills and everything. But that's our main thing is the mains, and secondary mains. And the big hills, that's what we try to get to first.
Thank you.
Any other Councilman? Move on.
Service Director, so the sidewalk plow, are we trying to do that on the first shift, or are we trying to do that on the second and third shift?
I'm gonna try to do it on first shift.
Okay, you don't.
The guys, there's guys out now even plowing, then there'll be guys on third shift, they won't be able to.
I'm sure they're doing aprons and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
I understand, thought it'd be a lot easier to do on a night shift than it would be during the first shift if possible. I know you have more manpower then, but,
Yeah, there's more manpower. We only had 5 guys today, with all the rotation of the list, we had 5 gentlemen in today for first shift.
okay,
So, and then going into tonight, there's only 3, and then it'll be 2 tonight for second, or
Okay.
third, I'm sorry.
Councilman Jaworski.
How's our salt situation?
Thank God for that delivery last week, because we used a lot of it. We still have some in the dome, and I also ordered 250 ton last week, so hopefully they give me a call sometime this week. That's it.
I appreciate you guys being very effective in your use of salt and only salting those areas that need it at this point.
Yeah, if there's complaints, that's the reason, you know, we have to be conservative on it. Especially, like Euclid Avenue was rough yesterday. It was rough, but it was a lot of cars on there, and people were complaining there was a foot of snow on the street. It's, you know, you have to wait until it's all comes down, and it's all at the end.
Can't argue with that logic. Not when there's other cities that have no salt whatsoever.
Exactly.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Building Commissioner Capra.
Thank you, Council President. I don't have anything to add.
Any questions or comments for the building commissioner? Thank you, sir. Recreation Director, stop.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. Just 2 quick comments that you should have received tonight. Pricing in regards to Parks and Recreation Commission's recommendations. So I wanted to give you some pricing on that. And then also make you aware of a community event that's going to be happening with the Cleveland Monsters and Wickliffe residents and friends and family. It's February 27th. It's a Friday night. We're working with them to give us some really good discounts on some seating, and I really encourage people to attend this. They're giving us a $52 ticket for $29, a $46 ticket for $24, and a $42 ticket for $19, and that doesn't charge any handling fees or anything of that nature. And then the night also has some specials going on. It's a 1, 2, 3 Friday where they have very economical pricing on Coke products, hot dogs, and adult beverages. So I wanted to make you aware of that, and this information is on the city's website.
So everybody received your updated version on your capital request, and that's already been in the Parks and Property Committee.
Yes.
But everybody should have the updated. Correct. Any other questions for the Recreation Director? Councilman Dworsky.
Tim, what date did you say that was, the Monsters?
It's Friday, February 27th,
Thank you.
and you purchase the tickets online through the link on the website.
Any other questions for the Recreation Director? Thank you, Mr. Stopp. I will now open the floor for audience participation. If anybody would like to address Wickliffe City Council, they should stand to be recognized, state their name and address for the clerk's record. Since these meetings are being recorded and streamlined, the clerk has a microphone that must be used. Each person will have a 5-minute maximum time limit for their comments, which should be addressed to council or the mayor, not the administrators. Would anybody like to address City Council? Would anybody like to address City Council? We will mark audience participation closed. Committee reports. The Committee of the Whole met on January 20th, 2026. The meeting was called to order at 6 p.m. The purpose was to discuss the street dedication of the Old School Way. Present, Balaga, Hartstein, Koski, Ball, Jaworski, Levon, and Thielman. Also present, Mayor Sakis, Building Commissioner Capra, Law Director Iusi, Finance Director Matus, Service Director Krofcheck, Police Chief Bush, Fire Chief Grossman, Recreation Director Stopp, and City Engineer Formica. The City Engineer and the Service Director stated the street was completed to the city specifications and was good to go. Councilman Thielman asked if there was a warranty on the road in case of a problem showed up in a year or so. The engineer Formica stated in section 1367.07 of the building code states that the developer is responsible for the road and the improvements for the project for 1 year after dedication. The committee approved the dedication of Old School Way and recommended the law director create legislation for the dedication of Old School Way to be placed on the agenda at the next regular council meeting. This item will be reported out of committee. The meeting adjourned at 6:12 p.m. The Finance Committee met on January 20, 2026. The meeting was called to order at 6:13 p.m. to discuss the 2020-26 budget. Present, Bala, Gerhardstein, Koski, Ball, Jaworski, Levon, and Thielman. Also present, Mayor Sakis, Building Commissioner, the Law Director, Finance Director, Service Director, Police Chief, Fire Chief, Recreation Director, and City Engineer. Finance Director started the meeting with an update about the Ohio net profit tax, noting that he received a letter that day stating that the city needed to pay back $490,000 to the state of Ohio. He reminded the committee that last year that number was $898,000. Levon asked the director to check into this, why that continues to happen. Mr. Matus said he will be looking into it this week. Mr. Matus stated that he heard that we would be getting part of the Ohio cannabis tax, and that amount should be around $250,000. The committee started with the revenue side of the budget first. Levon questioned the amount in the real estate tax line. He thought it was too low, recommended it to be raised to $1.6 million. Matus stated that the net profit tax should be raised from $600,000 to $1.2 million. Jaworski asked if the workers for the contractors working for the housing developments are paying city income tax while they're working inside the city. The finance director said he'd be looking into it. Bala asked if the hotels and motels in the city were current in their taxes, and Director Matus said they were. Gerhardstein wanted the local government tax line to be raised to $1 million. He also asked that the gaming fees be raised to $50,000. Chief Grossman recommended that the ambulance fee line should be raised to $500,000. The committee adjustments to the revenue in other lines, including the Bureau of Workmen's Comp refunds and reimbursement line, the liquor tax line, the miscellaneous income line, the gas tax, the real estate tax, the dye testing fee. In total, the committee made adjustments on 22 lines on the revenue side of the budget, totaling an increase of $963,311. The committee then started to work on the expense side of the budget. Gerhardstein recommended the city council should clarify if they wanted to do with the fact that the year 2026 has 27 pay periods in it instead of the normal 26 pay periods, which for salary personnel have their salary divided by 27 pay periods. After much discussion, the committee voted on whether or not to divide the salary by 27 or by 26 and add one more pay period to be called pay as usual, which most other cities do. The committee voted to pay as usual formula with the stipulation that the finance department would look into a permanent fix to this so that in the future another city council will not run into the same issue. Levon asked the recreation director about the increase in the program and classes line. Stop stated it was to do offering more classes and an increase in the payroll for instructors. Bala asked about the storefront renovation program, noting in the past council had put in $50,000 in that line. Gerhardstein recommended that city council should complete the budget first and then see how it looks before putting money into this line. Council members agreed to look at this item again after the budget was finished. Jaworski asked if the amount in the salt and snow removal line was enough due to the current winter condition and the salt shortage. Levon asked, our current salt contract was up. The service director stated it is up this year and will advise council before the budget was completed if it needed to be raised to adjustment on that line. Gerhardstein asked about the mayor expense line. The line was increased from $2,000 to $10,000 this year. The mayor stated the line should be taken back to $2,000. He stated he didn't know how that increase in the line happened. Thielman asked about the increase in the legal advertising line. The law director stated the increase was line due to new construction in the city, noting the city has to spend more advertisements for zoning and variance issues. Levon questioned the Colby Park concert line. It was raised from $7,500 to $75,000. The finance director stated it was a misprint on the line and will be adjusted back down to $7,500. Committee asked about the increase in the State Route 2 maintenance line. The service director explained that Lake County is raising the cost of the city for maintaining State Route 2 for plowing and will no longer be taking care of the lights along the freeway, and the city will now have to cover the cost for that. The committee agreed to adjourn the meeting and finish the expense side of the budget at a later date. This item will remain in committee. Respectfully submitted, the meeting adjourned at 8:45 p.m. Board of Zoning Appeals meeting was January 22nd, 2026. The meeting was called to order at 7 p.m. The the meeting was an organizational meeting, and it had case 2026-01, 2026-02, and 2026-03. The board re-elected Keith Bennett as chairman and Joe Nicholas as vice chair. Case 2026 and case 2026-2. On December 4th, 2025, Matt Riley of Ryan Homes made application on a variance in lot coverage to allow construction of a new residential dwelling at 1570 and 1574 Old School Way in a R160 residential district. Mr. Riley explained to the board that these are ranch-style homes with first-floor master bedrooms which require more coverage on the lot. The board approved a 20.6% variance for 1570 Old School Way and a 21% variance for 1574 Old School Way. Case 2026-03, on December 23rd, 2025, Brian Deming of Deming Enterprises made application for a variance to construct a new security booth in front of the yard setback at 29501 Clayton Avenue in an industrial district. Mr. Deming explained to the board that PCC Airfoils is currently working on government contracts, and that the government requires them to have a secure parking lot and access to their building, which requires them to install a gate to limit access to employees and known guests. The question was asked about how this would affect the traffic flow on Clayton Boulevard. Mr. Deming stated it would affect the traffic during shift changes for about 15 minutes. PCC also stated that they could put the automated gate system in without a variance. The guard check, which will be manned 24 hours a day, is the reason for the variance is required. After much debate, the board voted 3-2 to approve the variance of 70% to allow the construction of a guard check. The meeting adjourned at 7:45 p.m. Respectfully submitted. Mr. Lamont.
The Volunteer Firefighter Department Fund Commission met on January 26. All fund payments in 2025 were made, and meeting minutes will be submitted to the state on January 27th.
Any other committees or commissions? We will move on to old business. New business, the gazebo. Mayor, if that, I was going to move the gazebo from the committee of the whole to the Parks and Property Committee where it belongs.
Yes.
So that's the only reason I'm going to change it.
And then he can call a meeting for 6 before our.
Yeah, he could, when we get to that part, he's free to call whatever.
Thank you.
No problem. Any other, we'll move on to ordinances.
Ordinance number 2026-02, an ordinance approving the editing inclusion of certain ordinances as parts of the various component codes of the codified ordinances of the city of Wickliffe, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Suspension.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Ballas, seconded by Councilman Levon to suspend the rules of council and place ordinance 2026-02 on third and final reading. Discussion? Shanny, can you please call the roll?
Ballas.
Yes.
Ball.
Yes.
Gerhardstein.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski. Yes. Levon.
Yes.
Adoption.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Ballas, seconded by Councilwoman Kosky to adopt ordinance 2026-02 as presented. Discussion? Shanny, can you please call the roll?
Ballas.
Yes.
Ball.
Yes.
Gerhardstein.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski. Yes. Levon.
Yes.
Ordinance passes.
Ordinance number 2026-03, an ordinance dedicating Old School Way as a public thoroughfare in the city of Wickliffe, Ohio. This is the first reading.
There was no resolutions. What was miscellaneous? Councilman Ballard.
Yeah, so like, if we're gonna have all the meetings on next Monday, what are we gonna start, 6?
You're calling the meeting, sir. You can start.
Are we all good next Monday for 6, how we did last week? If so, then let's,
You calling a Parks and Property Committee meeting,
I'm
sir?
doing both. Yeah, Parks and Property, yeah, because I'll hit them both. This is being the Finance Committee one, this here.
It's in Parks and Property. It has to stay there until you have a meeting and then
Yeah.
remove it.
Okay, let's get in
So
there.
you're going to have a Parks and Property meeting to
Yes.
discuss the city gazebo
The city gazebo and also, the Recreation Department's
recommendations for
recommendations
2026.
for their budget.
Excuse me.
Councilman Levon, or Jaworski, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm not available until 7 PM on Monday night.
Okay. Any other committees? I'm gonna call a Finance Committee meeting to follow Councilman Ballard's Parks and Property meeting. I would like to remind all the committee chairs that we have 1 month to get the budget on first reading at February 23rd. Clerk, it's the 23rd, correct, Sandy?
Yes, let me put the date here, so February, for it to be on the 23rd, it has to be complete before the 19th of February.
So I just want to make sure everybody understands, if you have committees and you have capital requests or vehicles or stuff in your committee, those meetings have to be called and moved. And we have 1 month to get the budget done, just to make sure everybody's aware of it. Councilman
I would
Jaworski.
like to call for for the capital committee meet after the finance committee.
For the improvements,
Yes, thank you.
to discuss the road improvements for 2026? So that'll follow the finance committee meeting. Anybody else? If there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
I'm sorry, was that?
That's so moved.
Okay. Moved by Councilman Levon, seconded by Councilwoman Koski to adjourn the meeting. Discussion? Sandy, can you please call roll?
Ballard.
Yes.
Paul.
Yes.
Gerhardstein.
Yes.
Jaworski.
Yes.
Kowski. Yes. Levon.
Yes.
Meeting adjourned.